Hey guys, Mike Martinez here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I went from making $9 an hour at 13 years old to running multiple multi-million-dollar successful businesses, doing annual revenue of close to $20 million a year. Let's get started. From East LA to the hills of Rancho Cucamonga, I'm gonna show you how I went from being broke to being rich. So my first job was washing Lexus cars at Longo Lexus. My brother was a car wash manager there. I was about 13 years old and that job was brutal. I remember coming home, my eyes would be bloodshot red. I was so tired. They would call me and ask me to go hang out in the night. I'd be too tired. I wouldn't even do it. And then my next job at 14 years old was selling chocolates at the gas stations. They'd pick us up after school, and it's just a bunch of high school freshmen that are going to gas stations in like nice neighborhoods, knocking doors with these huge Tupperware containers full of chocolates and teas and games. And we'd sell them for like $7, $8. The more we'd sell them for, the more commission we'd make, but I'd literally make a couple dollars off each item that I sold. So that was my second job. My third job is I was 14 years old, got my girlfriend pregnant, had my daughter, I was 15, and mom basically told me, I'm not supporting your kid. You gotta figure that out. So what I did is I picked up the penny saver. Those people that remember the penny saver, I picked it up and I was just hunting all these jobs. And I remember, I was a salesman selling chocolates, so I seen a telemarketing job. I went and applied there. This big Armenian dude that sold encyclopedias, he was the sales director. He's like, dude, you're a 14-year-old Mexican kid, like with a Mexican accent. I can't hire you, you're crazy. So I left disappointed. I tried to convince him before I left, but I left disappointed. Calls me back the next day. He says, you know what? I'm gonna give you an opportunity on one condition. I said, what's your condition? Now, mind you, I did everything I could to convince him to give me an opportunity. I said, dude, I sell chocolates at the gas station. I could do telemarketing. I could set appointments for a construction company. That's what it was. He says, anytime, I want you to start reading. And anytime you read a word that you don't understand, I want you to look it up, write it down on an index card and bring it to me and explain to me what the word means. So he basically was one of my first mentors. He was trying to polish me. He's trying to save this Mexican kid from the ghetto. Right? I started working in telemarketing in 3 months. I was like one of the top dogs, already beating some of the 60-year-old guys that were doing telemarketing there at the company. And then my next job was at the telemarketing place. I was about 14, 15 years old. And then I actually started doing canvassing at 15 years old. Canvassing is door-to-door knocking. The same construction company that I was setting appointments for, I was selling roofs, texture coating, and new windows in Hacienda Heights, which is a decent area, like upper middle class. So the owner of the construction company lived in that city. He was like a contractor there. He had all these appointment setters for him. I was one of them. So he had a bright idea. He says, why don't you guys start door knocking right around my projects that I'm working on right now while I'm finishing up the roofs. You can go knock the neighbors. Started doing that. I was a rock star at it. Set a bunch of appointments. He got a bunch of contracts. I was making, man, I don't even remember, like $6 an hour, $7 an hour, something stupid. And I was getting commission, a couple $100 every deal. So, I mean, I'm 15 years old. I'm already driving. I have a Honda Civic. I'm making $1,000 a month. I think I'm a baller, So I started door knocking. Then they started adding to the team. I was the only door knocker. Then they got me a partner, started adding on. At 15, 16 years old, I was already managing door knockers. I would get people that were like in their 40s and 50s, and I would have to tell them, you're gonna go down this street, you're gonna cross over, you're gonna come back, I'm gonna meet you here, and I'm gonna assign you your next street. They didn't like that. I'm 15 years old, telling them like what to do, So that went well for a while, and then at 16, 17, right around that age, about 17 years old, I got a job at a property management company. And what they would do is, later on I found out it was a scam, right? But what they were doing is they were renting out properties, and sometimes they would be able to get people these rentals, sometimes they wouldn't. And we were taking deposits on a lot of the rentals. So after I was there for several months, I started realizing, I'm like, dude, there's a lot of deposits and not everybody's getting a house. Like, what's up? So I caught on to that, and that lasted for a while. I still stuck around because those were like my crazy knucklehead years. So I stuck around and made a lot of mistakes. But after a few years, I started feeling, guilty right around that time. Started messing around with the stuff I should not. And after I came out of rehab, I didn't want to do that anymore. So I became a furniture salesman. I just started sharpening my sales skills that I had acquired from my early teens. And then eventually from furnitures, I got into collections, and we all know what happened there. I just never looked back. From collections, I was always good at sales, so I was a real natural at it. I was very creative when conversing with people, and later on in my later years, I found out that I'm really good at persuading people naturally. So I think that's been a big part of my success, where if you have that skill, you can make a lot of money in sales or anything related to sales. So on debt collections, once I got into that niche or that industry, I was really good at it. I mastered it. I worked in that business for companies, for collection agencies, different collection agencies, even a law firm, for about 6-7 years, just mastering the craft. And eventually in 2012, I launched my own company, never looked back. Here we are in 2022, currently averaging about 1.3 million a month. So you never feel ever like you know enough. I feel right now like I'm an expert at it and I still don't know enough. So you never feel like you know enough. You just have to be confident enough in yourself to be able to trust yourself that you can at least be profitable. And that's good enough. As long as you know and you're confident in yourself that you can at least be profitable, that's enough to start your business. If you're scared that you're not good enough to be profitable, don't start your business because you're gonna fail. My YouTube videos are based off of how I went from broke to being rich. And I hope that this particular video really showed you the truth about how anybody can become rich and a multimillionaire in this country. I hope it's inspired you. Like, comment below, and make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.